It's Karen, and I'm just going to see if I can change this camera because what I'm using in terms of the lighting is crap right now. Um, Unfortunately, Facebook is not letting me switch cameras. Pooh! Oh my God! It's just not cool. Okay, bear with me if you don't mind. Just bear with me just for 1 second. Um, there's not a whole lot of you guys on here anyway, so bear with me while I see if I can switch the camera. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Camera, camera, camera. Let me switch my camera for goodness sake. Oh, anyway. All right, well, hopefully you can see me and it's a little bit clear. I don't know. I'm just going to go for it. So something came up today when I was watching somebody's feed. I was watching somebody's news feed, and I saw that this particular person, kind of let go, really let fly with how he felt about what was going on. And then there was a whole bunch of other posts about the way that he was expressing himself. And as I'm reading through all the posts and the comments, no one was actually paying it, not no one, but there was this group of people who weren't actually paying attention to the message that he was communicating. They were paying attention to the words that he chose, which means they've missed the point completely. But what I actually realized in that moment was that, there is a lot of separation that is occurring amongst us at the moment. And it's separation that is driven by fear. And some of us are frightened of the unknown. Some of us are frightened of the politicians. Some of us are frightened of coronavirus. Some of us are frightened of the vaccine. Some of us are frightened of losing our loved ones to the vaccine through injuries. Some of us are frightened of losing our voice and our right to have an opinion. Some of us are frightened of what the future is going to hold in this whole one world government politically driven viewpoint. And so what's landing up happening is we've got a lot of viewpoints and we've got a lot of fear that's driving a lot of conversation and a lot of anxiety. While I understand our need to express ourselves, and I think it's vital, and social media gives us a magical platform for us to actually be able to do that. So that's fantastic. What I've also been hit with today is a great influx of requests for counseling for people who are suffering with anxiety. Now, I actually think we all have a responsibility to each other. I'm not right, by the way. I'm just sharing my view, okay? So if you want to fight with me about it, of course, you're welcome to express your view on my page. You are completely free. You can be exactly as you are without judgment. So please feel free to share your view as I'm feeling free to share mine. And what I'm noticing as somebody who is a counselor, but also somebody who is very much at the effect of everything that's going on, my business. Oh, hello, Kellyanne, you spunky little thing. Hi, Ange. My business completely imploded as of coronavirus, being a professional speaker and running events. So I've had to reinvent myself, and it's been totally fun. I've actually quite loved it. But apart from that side of it, there are a lot of things that are causing anxiety. And what I'm finding with the people that are reaching out to me for counseling sessions is that they're trying to anticipate their future. And of course, our future was very predictable before because we were just going along, doing the do, being ourselves. And now all of a sudden, everything changes and it turns on a dime. We have no idea what's going to occur in the next 20 minutes, much less the next 20 days or the next 20 years. Whereas there was a level of predictability prior to 2020. Now that we don't have that predictability, we are finding ourselves in a state of anxiety because our certainty and our predictability is gone from us, and it's in the hands of something and someone that we can't control. So it's only natural then that we would feel anxiety. But I just want to position this with you guys and just get you to explore this just for a quick second. Was our predictability and was our certainty prior to 2020 actually real? Or was it something that we just never considered? We never took a moment to consider that in actual fact, life is always calling us forward. Life is always calling us to expand. But before 2020, it didn't come with fear because we just didn't think about it. Now we have to think about it. And when we're thinking about it, we're actually seeing that it is unpredictable. We are seeing that there isn't any certainty. But the truth of the matter is, there never has been. Our lives have never been certain. Think about it. You've never been in control of your challenges. You've never been in control of your opportunities, ever. They show up randomly. And as much as goal setting as we want to do, we never get them showing up at the time, at the place, to the extent and who they're with that we envision. So that level of certainty that we felt we had prior to 2020, we never actually had it. It's just that we didn't think about it. Now we're being forced to think about it. We're frightened. But it was always there. So I want to share, I just wanted to share that perspective with you guys, that in fact, all of the fear that we're feeling, and then we all have those analogies of, false evidence appearing real, or F everything and run, which I kind of thought that was quite hilarious. But we've always had, we've had this frame of reference around fear. But the reality is, it's fear of an uncertain future. But our futures have never actually been certain. That's the one thing that we can be certain of, is change, isn't it? And that's we've always had that. The only difference is now we throw in a coronavirus, we throw in a vaccine, we throw in political agendas, we throw in conspiracies, we throw in the media. We've got a lot of influencing factors. Aside from the coronavirus, though, have we not always had a lot of influencing factors? If you think about all the different influencing factors that have made certainty and predictability something we can't really grasp. But prior to 2020, there was always the Reserve Bank. There was always political agenda. There was always stock markets rising and falling. There was always housing markets rising and falling. There was always uncertainty with businesses, and will I get new customers? Will I get new clients? The way the marketplace changes constantly. Social media changes constantly. The way that we make money changes constantly. Our certainty in our jobs and redundancies and security, all of that has always been uncertain. It's just we never thought about it the way we think about it now. And the way we're thinking about it now, because we are at such odds with each other, we have every different possible opinion out there. And it's the odds at each other and with each other that is actually the danger. The fear and not fear, but the uncertainty has always been there. The unpredictability, man, it's always been there. We've just got different factors contributing to it. But really, unpredictability and uncertainty has never really been there for us. Now that we're thinking about it, we're all up in arms and uncertain and frightened. But the fear that we're actually feeling is because we don't have safety in numbers anymore. Everybody is at odds with everybody else, and nobody really knows what's right, what's true, and what's real. Nobody really knows. We're all trying to guess. But because we're separating from each other and we're finding reasons to disagree with each other, that's where the real anxiety is kicking in for us. And if for those of you guys who are feeling anxiety deep within your skin bag, have a really good look. Check in with yourself and see what is it that you're actually feeling concerned about. Is it your livelihood? Is it about your future? And I guarantee you, when you really have a look, it's not that, because that's never really been certain. It's this fact that we're separating from each other. And the very nature of humanity is connection. The very nature of, and the spirit of who we are is connection and love. It just is that. Whether you want to be woohoo and spiritual about it, or you just want to be practical about it, it doesn't really matter. The nature of human survival is connection. Now, because we are fractured, there is anxiety because it's not our natural state. So when I saw this post of everybody having something to say about the words this particular friend of mine chose, I really thought to myself, we're missing the point. Not just in his post, we missed the point, but we're missing the point about what's really going on here and what's causing our anxiety and what's causing our trepidation. It's not the fear. and the uncertainty, it's the separation. And if we can begin to try something new, because there is a solution to this. Everything that happens in life is always about our expansion. It's never about contraction. So if we're finding ourselves contracting, it simply means you're not in the grandest version of yourself. And sometimes we need to contract in order to expand. Sometimes you need to withdraw in order to present, to present yourself in the fullest capability that you have. So if you need to contract, contract. And if you need to reach out for help, there are many counselors like myself who are making themselves available. But understand this, that contraction is temporary, because that's not what this is all about. This is calling us all to expand, and it's calling us all to expand in a greater sense of connection rather than a greater sense of separation. So in that connection, what does it take for you to not judge people? What does it take for you to make room for people to have their own opinion and to watch them and observe them and feel compassion for them as they go through their phases of recognition that I'm terrified, I'm anxious, I don't know about my future, I don't know about my income, I feel insecure. And wait for them to reach the understanding that it's always been that way, but what they're feeling is the anxiety caused from separation. So eventually we will all get it. We will, I promise you, we will all get it, because we are so bloody smart. We are so freaking clever. We will figure it out. That this anxiety and this tension is caused by our separation and our division amongst each other. It's not from anything else. So in solution is for us to come together in a more profound way than what we've ever done before. How do we do that? What does that even look like? Those are the questions we need to be asking ourselves. But before we can get to who we're meant to be, we need to recognize what we're not. We're not people who can survive on separation. The very nature of humanity is connection, but we're being called to connect in a more profound way than we've ever done before. And that means releasing judgment, the need to be right, that other people are so wrong, the need to relinquish our sense of responsibility and say, I throw my hands up in the air, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. No freaking way. You're not allowed to do that. It's got nothing to do with the virus and politics. It's got everything to do with your taking a stand for connection. It's you taking a stand for not judging people anymore and allowing room for people to come to this realization themselves. We all have to do that. That's what this experience is calling us forward to do, make room for each other. Watch each other and participate with each other, be involved with each other, but not be attached to each other's viewpoints and opinions, because they're temporary and they will change. As we begin to understand that this is all about connection, because the opposite of separation is connection, right? So when we begin to understand what it takes for us to reach for that connection in a way we've never done before. See, this is the purpose of challenges. And I think I've said this 1,000 times to everybody who follows me. Purpose of challenges is not to have us dip into our kit bag and pull out resources that we've used before. The purpose of a challenge is to ensure that we grow, expand, and become something we weren't before. Learn new things about ourselves and discover new tools. So there's a new question for us all to jump on and type into Google, how do I connect more profoundly than I've ever done before? How do I release my judgment of other people, my hatred, my fear, my separation? How do I forgive people? How do I get past all of that so that then what's left is connection? You see, because people are always going to be different to you. No one's ever going to be the same as you. No one's ever going to think the same way as you. So let's stop trying to make people be like us, because it's never going to happen. Everybody is always going to have their own view. But we will all get to the understanding that all of this is the challenge for humanity to find a new way to connect in a way that we've never done before, because it's the opposite of separation is connection. We must reach for this. But until all of social media and all of humanity register that that is what the universe is calling us forward to, until we figure that out, we are going to be trapped in the cycle of opinion and separation and fighting and fear and anxiety. So for those of us that get it, or perhaps get there a little bit earlier, or perhaps can see that there's something not right about this whole equation, please understand it's temporary. We will get there. Humanity are amazing, and we have survived way bigger and way worse than this. This is nothing in comparison to what humanity has been through. And let me say this to you guys. You are stronger. You are more expanded. We are more aware, self-aware. And in actual fact, social media has created greater connection than we've ever been capable of before. So when we see people fighting with each other, when we see people judging each other and making each other wrong, let's not judge them for that. Let's just accept and understand that they are in fear and they're only doing the best that they know how to do with what they have. So let's not perpetuate the judgment. Let's make room for each other. Let's make expansive room for each other and wait for us all to get to the understanding that the purpose of all of this shit is to have us connect in a way that humanity has never done before. We need to learn new tools. We need to learn how to be the next level of human. And that is what you want to type into Google. How do I become the next level of human? So that then I don't judge, I don't hate, I don't have so much fear, and I don't have so much uncertainty. So I don't know how that lands for any of you guys, but I was sitting here thinking about it. I had to share it with you. I hope that it gives you a slightly different perspective. Yes, go ahead, have all of your opinions, have all of your beliefs, have all of your thoughts. Go ahead and do all of that, because you know what? You're human and you're going to do it anyway. But when it comes to other people, let's us who are watching this, let's us make a decision to not judge each other as right and wrong for each other's opinions, because everything we have is temporary and it will change. All of our views, all of our beliefs, everything, it will change. When we look back on this time, we will change. Everything changes. So whatever we're experiencing, it is temporary. Let's make room for each other. It doesn't have to come from love. It just has to come from some kind of compassion and some kind of an understanding that there is a bigger purpose at play right now. And when we think about the major theme of life, it's separation, which then makes its direct opposite the purpose of the separation, because everything always has a purpose. Nothing is for nothing. There are no mistakes. Not in this entire universe, there's not one mistake. So if we look at the direct opposite of separation, it's connection. So connection doesn't mean love and, treat and hugging each other and, all of that sort of stuff. It just means understanding the human condition, creating compassion, making room for each other, and not standing in judgment of each other. And the minute you actually do that, all the pressure is off you, because you don't then have to run around policing everybody's opinions, trying to control them and trying to get them to think the way that you think. Bloody hell, that's freaking exhausting. Who's got the energy to do that? Life in and of itself is challenging enough for each one of us individually, much less trying to control the masses. Leave that to those who think they can. But of course, there's a much bigger agenda at play here that's got nothing to do with politics, and it's got nothing to do with the coronavirus. It's got nothing to do with anything other than connection. So let's make room for each other. That's my message. Have a great day. Please share your views and your thoughts with me. And I'm sorry about the lighting. It's not all that great. And yeah, I'm sitting here in my office and I'm just short of my pajamas. So, so sorry I haven't done my hair and my makeup, but I just had to jump on and share this with you guys. Mwah, all my love. Bye, everybody. Now, how do I turn this thing off? See ya.